Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Thursday Med Missionary membership broadcast. And today we are with you on in our Facebook group. Now, I think this is the first time I've been live on Facebook in a long time. So it's good to see everybody, and it's good to see how everything has grown so much. We started this group in 2020, I think. And so it's a blessing to see everyone who is being blessed by this program. Now, today, I want to welcome you to this program. We are going to be talking about this subject that I think a lot of you would be interested in. It's something that I really struggled with, and that was why am I still sick, even though I'm eating all this supposedly healthy, plant-based, organic food? And if you are suffering from the same problem and have the same questions, I think that this will be of interest to you. Uh, so before we start, why don't we get started with a word of prayer? And who's going to pray for us today? Mercy, do you want to pray for us?
Sure. Dear Heavenly Father, we're very grateful that you give us this opportunity to talk about health and why we still sick and issues that could be. And I just want to ask you to please bless us today that perhaps several people can improve their health because of some of this information. So we want to ask you your special blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, so to give our talk, and I don't know, David, you have different people spotlighted at different times because uh, when I'm talking, I don't see myself. Should I see myself?
You should be good.
I should be good. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
seeing you on Facebook.
You
Yep.
are. Okay, very good.
Yep.
All right. So Mercy's going to be sharing this presentation today. And then if you have any questions, please do let us know. And for those of you who aren't aware, we do have a course called the Autoimmune Recovery Course, and that's going to start this Sunday. And so if you're interested in learning more information about that, please stick around to the end too. We'll be answering questions about that. So Mercy, why don't you go and get started? And for those of you who don't know Mercy, my friend Mercy Ballard, she has a lifestyle center called Years Restored in Central California, where she has been doing this for how long now? I think over 10 years now, Mercy, right?
13 years.
13 years. Okay, very good. So she comes to us with a wealth of information. So Mercy, why don't you get started?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to talk about gut issues. I know we have this going on all over. Myself, when I was very sick over 20 years ago. This was 2003 when I started getting sick. I had no idea what I had. So for 2 years, I had to do a lot of research to see what can help my issues. And it was a special lab in Texas. This was a professor from the university there that founded this lab. I guess he figured it out that a lot of people were having issues, and he said this was a specialized in especially food sensitivities, food intolerances, and so I did a test and showed that I was sensitive to a lot of the foods that I grew up with. So it didn't make no sense to me and things like that. So I start kind of studying more and more and more to learn about that. But when I stopped those foods, because I was very health conscious, I was eating very healthy. I was plant-based already for a few years. I was eating healthy foods, no processed foods at that time. So I had no idea why I was sick, because I was also doing juices every day, and the juices were carrot juice, organic carrot juice. So I will drink 2 cups of that every day. So I didn't realize I was drinking a concentrated uh, sugar there in the carrot. So at that time, I didn't know how the juices should be, how is to eat a balanced plant-based. And the only thing I didn't know also that the food sensitivity problem, because at that time it was kind of new. People didn't know it. Even my GI doctor was very surprised about that test that I did, because I show it to him and he was very puzzled. So everything was new at that time. So there was so much to learn, and that's what I dedicate myself to study this more and more and more. Just not because, I want to teach or anything like that. It was just for me, for my own condition. And later on, I had a desire to help people. But at the beginning, it was because I just want to figure out what is my problem. So we're going to start here about what is leaky gut, because leaky gut is a big component of autoimmune disease and also food sensitivities. So according to this study, it's a disruption of the barrier. It's referred as a leaky gut or leaky gut wall syndrome, and seem to be characterized for release of bacterial metabolites and the toxins. So it's linked to toxicity also, infections, things like that. Here,
So the barrier, is that like the inside of the intestines? Is that what's leaking?
yes, exactly. I'm going to show you one picture of what really happens. But just for your information, the guy that discovered leaky gut and the molecule that controls that is Dr. Alessio Fasano. And he discovered the sonulin, which is the molecule that opens up the gate. And so that's the only modulator that they found it. So, very good book. He wrote a very, very good book. One thing that is lacking, it was the diet. All he did is just removing the gluten part, but it was still very inflammatory diet in the book that I read. But thanks God, the Adventist community is very, very blessed, because we have given the blueprint for an anti-inflammatory diet. So we want to be faithful following this. We have been given this information over how many? Maybe 150 years, something like that. Maybe a little less, maybe 140, something like that. And so I believe that because we have been given this information, we are ahead of many other people, the science, right? Because this is the real science that God has given us for these times. So we follow all these principles that God has given us, how to make a diet, balancing the timing of the foods, what to eat at night, if you eat at night, how many hours apart, and things like that. There's so many principles. Perhaps one day we can do the principles of LNGY on food. It's tons of information, super, super great information. So, because I see that lacking in other therapies, for example, paleotherapy, even the medical community that is integral medicine, functional medicine, they do good job diagnosing, finding out what the problems are, but what is lacking is the food. How do you eat an anti-inflammatory food? And that is balancing the hours, and they figured out a lot of stuff, and that not as much as what we have been given. So we are really blessed to have all that information. Okay, leaky gut, this condition mainly caused by bacterial infections, oxidative stress. So what causes oxidative stress is going to be, inflammatory diets, processed foods, things like that, high fat diet, of course,
Well,
alcohol.
what is that? What is oxidative stress?
Oxidative stress is when are large amounts of inflammation in the body. And when people have large amounts of oxidative stress, they're super sick. They are unable, most of people, to detoxify because of large amounts of oxidative stress. So the important thing is to remember what causes oxidative stress. It's usually a very not healthy lifestyle, foods that are very unhealthy, a lot of fried foods, the foods that are fast foods and things like that. It's very hard to find healthy restaurants, healthy place to eat, especially for people like us that we have a lot of gene mutations of all kinds, and we have to be super careful, otherwise we will get sick again. I was doing pretty good for over 20 years. I had a little downs, very little downs and ups, but I did have one big down, and it can happen because we had to be very careful with everything we do. And I think it'll be good idea to do labs every year. For example, do your hemoglobin, your CBC, it's the CBC, CMP, do your iron, do vitamin D, your vitamin B12, all those basic things, especially for us. I think it's good for everybody because sometimes, oh, it's too late. They found out, oh, you have cancer, or you have your autoimmune back. But if we would have been taking good care of that, it's a good lesson for me and all of us, that we have to be especially careful if you deal with autoimmune disease.
So those of us who have autoimmune disease, which is a lot of us, like what was it, like 30 something percent of people have some form of are affected in some way by autoimmune disease, some insane number. But for those of
Yeah,
us that
I don't
have
know if
that,
it's
we
that
we
high,
have
but it's probably that high. But a lot of people cannot be diagnosed because the symptoms are wild. It's
right. I
a
think
lot
I
of
saw
people
that
that come to a
number.
lifestyle center, maybe 20% they have not been diagnosed. So it is a big number it's not in the numbers.
Right. And if you what we are affected by autoimmune disease, I am, you are, Joyce is, a lot of people watching are, we have compromised systems, right? We have weaker constitutions with our immune system, which means that our gut is particularly sensitive, right? So a lot of things that are quote unquote healthy or things that are considered healthy in the mainstream consciousness of like health, wellness, this diet, nutrition, this whole sphere, this whole world. A lot of these things that are considered healthy for a lot of people may not necessarily be healthy for us because we have to be very
Exactly.
particular. We have to be very particular. We have to be very simple. We have to really look for the most anti-inflammatory, easy to digest foods possible because even things that other people who have normal systems, which is decreasingly less people that have normal systems. But something that's healthy for them, like we were talking about like spicy food earlier, may not be healthy for us and may totally one little ingredient could make the difference between
Yes.
being healthy and being going totally downwards.
Yes, yes. And some people are, genes, they're very strong, healthy people, like my husband. He's pretty strong and
Yeah, he's lucky.
healthy.
Your husband's lucky.
I'm
And he
looking at
doesn't.
at autoimmune disease in the United States, at least it says it's about 4.6%,
Mhm.
50 million people. But I mean the rate at which it goes up, it's about 20% a year or so.
Yeah, and a lot of people is not diagnosed also. And people don't know what they have. So we don't know exactly, but in the numbers seems still kind of low. Um, okay, but the symptoms, many people have these issues right now with food sensitivities and things like that. Okay, so um, What causes leaky gut, according to this study, again, is oxidative stress, so eating very unhealthy. Infections is a big one. High-fat diet, too, and chronic allergens. So this can be environmental. It can be also the foods that we eat. That's what the foods that are very contaminated, for example, GMO foods that are have things like herbicides, pesticides, things like that. So this is very important, for us. If we don't want to end up with an autoimmune condition, I think it's very good for all of us to, even people that do not have the diagnosis, to take good care of themselves to prevent this. Okay, here is the picture that I love. So do you see here the sonulin? Maybe Dr. Joyce, can you explain this? I think do better job.
Oh, this picture, yeah. So when you're looking from the left to the right, you can see that these are the endothelial cells on the gastric lining, or the intestinal lining, I'm sorry. The intestinal lining, and you'll see that these intestinal cells, they have these little junctions between them that cause them to be connected to each other and better able to prevent any kind of, entrance of pathogens and, which are bacteria, viruses, these types of things. But if you start eating something or something happens that causes you to lose those tight junctions, and Dr. Alessio Fasano found in his laboratory that, for instance, eating wheat products, anything that has gluten in it, and the gluten is represented by the blue little balls that are on top of the purple receptors on those endothelial cells there. You can see that when you eat gluten, oh, no, I'm sorry. No, sorry. The gluten is the white oblong thing. That's what the gluten is. Okay. So when you eat gluten, it stimulates the body to produce a protein called zonulin. Okay. And so the zonulin is the blue little ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then the zonulin, those proteins, when they attach to the receptor, it causes the endothelial cell to lose its tight junctions. And so now you have a weakness, and you have ability for, whatever food particles that are not digested as well, bacteria, viruses, to enter into the body, and it causes this inflammatory cascade. And so you can see that as you have this inflammatory cascade that happens, that the things that are produced will come back and reflect upon the intestinal cells there, so that as you move from the left to the right, you can see that the intestinal cells are less healthy. And depending on where in the gut this inflammation happens, see, it's not like all over that you're going to have this inflammation. So you might have it in an area that you're absorbing iron, for instance. And so you might end up with low iron. You might end up in an area where you are absorbing other nutrients, and so that's how it can affect you. Or so you can have malabsorption happen, and anemia. So these things, when you have anemia and that kind of thing, people only test for bleeding in older people, and they don't know what else to test for. But I would test for food sensitivities, leaky gut, and this type of thing. But it's just to illustrate that, for some of us, when we eat wheat, for instance, the gluten can cause us to lose our tight junctions. It can contribute to the leaky gut. And when you have leaky gut, you may end up with malabsorption, with mineral deficiencies, micronutrient deficiencies, and anemia, and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that was the case of myself, that I had anemia, so I wasn't absorbing certain minerals. I was still alive, but parts of the small intestine absorb different things. So I was leaking in the part that wasn't absorbing the minerals. So it was yeah, it's a serious thing to be dealing with leaky gut, because
Yeah,
they get
it's a
worse and
scary
worse
looking
and worse.
picture. So
Huh?
basically you eat bad stuff, including gluten, that causes spaces, gaps to form in these cells. And
Mm-hmm.
then undigested foods or partially digested foods and bacteria and all sorts of other stuff comes through and it
Yes,
shouldn't be there. And your immune system is like, wait a minute, these are invaders. This shouldn't be
exactly.
here. So it starts attacking it, but it doesn't just stop there. It starts attacking the actual gut lining and gut cells as well. Is that what's happening?
Exactly. Very good. Very good description. So I'm gonna see here. This is the gluten. Here, this white, and this is the sonulin. And here's happening all the inflammation process. And so, and here's the cells are separated. Sometimes it's even worse than this. They're flat areas, and so this is something serious. You're gonna be feeling really sick. The more serious it is. So let me continue with the next one. Factors leading to leaky gut. So one is antibiotics, medications, certain medications. Candida is an infection. Parasites also is an infection. Intestinal infection also. That covers all of that. Dysbiosis, which is same thing as it's a low-grade infection. Dysbiosis is an imbalance of the microbiome, the bacteria. We call it bacteria, even though it's more than bacteria, it's viruses and parasites, things like that. Also, poor diet, as we mentioned, alcohol, stress. Stress is a big one, because who's not stressed? So it's one factor. Stress is not the whole thing. Nothing is the whole thing. It's usually multifactorial, the problem. Usually it's going to be two, three, four, five things that are going on.
So what's dysbiosis? That's a fancy word. I
So
didn't
this
go to school.
biosis is an imbalance of the bacteria, imbalance of the microbiome. Microbiome is all the microbes that we have in our system. It's probably about 1 trillion. It's 1 to 1. Some people say it's 1 to 3, compared to the cells of the human body. But some sites show there's 1 to 1. So this biosis will be when there's more pathogenic bacteria than beneficial bacteria. So
Oh,
when
okay.
that
And
happens,
you get that from all this stuff, right? Poor diet,
exactly.
antibiotics, alcohol.
Exactly, because the
Okay.
antibiotics are gonna kill everything, good and bad. So then you don't have the good ones to fight for you. And also, yeah, poor diet. When there is no fiber, is a serious issue, because the bacteria eat fiber. So if there's no fiber, they're gonna eat your gut, part of it, the mucous layer there. So then it's gonna leak even more. So that's what's so important. The diet is very important too. Okay, so it can be also low stomach acid, low pancreatic enzymes.
And
Um,
stress too, even if I'm really stressed, I can get leaky gut from that.
yes, stress is a big one. A lot of people are very sick because, besides perhaps the bacteria being unbalanced, besides this biosis, it can be just a serious stress. So that's going to be a trigger. It's not the cause necessary, because there is a genetic component, because we have a lot of genes that are mutated. So it's that, but it's the environmental is bigger than even the genetic component.
And how do I know if I have low stomach acid or these enzymes? I don't know. How do I know that?
Um, there is test. They usually they do a biopsy in certain part of where you produce the acid, and it's the stomach. So they do that. So that can happen. It has a name. There is a name of gastric autoimmune. I think that's what it's called. Gastric autoimmune. Um, when there's not enough acidity production. Um,
Like, are there symptoms that I could
The
suspect that
symptoms
maybe I
will
have that
be
problem?
digestive. It can be bloating, pain, um, a lot of joint pain also, and muscle pain, and brain fog, all that.
Okay,
And
so
you
like
not,
indigestion, bloating, stuff
yes,
like that,
exactly. And then
brain
the
fog.
legumes are not able to process the proteins because you need acid to digest the proteins. And so it's going to be a problem. And then these undigested proteins are going to be linked to leaky gut and make all the symptoms even worse. So it's very important. And so there is one thing that we do for that. The lemon helps the acidity. So we do lemon for each meal to help us digest well our proteins. So that's one thing that we do. And pancreatic enzymes, a lot of the enzymes is when we eat fresh foods. So if we're not eating fresh foods, because I see a lot of people eating plant-based, but they don't eat salads. They eat salads maybe 2 times a week.
So
So
why is that important?
they're not eating fresh foods and they're in plant-based. And so that can be serious because the vitamins are in the fresh foods and the enzymes are in the fresh foods. So it's very important to eat good amount of fresh foods. Myself, I like to eat a pesto every day. So in the pesto, I have parsley, cilantro, green onions. I have spinach. I put what else? Avocado, lemon, salt, but as many as lettuce I put there too. So I eat pretty much 6 to 7 days a week. Big vegetables that are fresh because I know they're so important to decrease inflammation. And yeah, and so it's very, very important to eat a lot of fresh food also.
Yeah, so because you mentioned that you make a pesto, and I think you mentioned before that blending the stuff that you would normally eat in your salad, like leafy greens, lemon, onion, and all that kind of stuff, you can make a pesto out of it. And that's actually even better for a lot of people because a lot of people have a hard time digesting leafy
Mhm.
greens because leafy greens can take a lot of energy and strength from the digestive system to really fully break down and work through and extract the nutrients. But if you blend it up and you make it into a pesto, you can consume it that way, and it's actually a lot easier on your system because your system
Yes.
actually prefers the consistency of blended food anyway. So it's like you're taking that part. Your body doesn't have to do that part, and you can just
Yeah.
eat it that way, and you can absorb it much more rapidly and easily without the same problems you might have if you ate it normally.
This is especially true for people that have digestive issues. And because if people will chew well, will be great, but usually not. Uh, Usually, when people are not used to greens, they will have a lot of gas. It will take a time also for the body to adjust. And yeah, but very important to eat a lot of fresh foods. Okay, here we have information about what is the links to leaky gut. So when somebody's dealing with leaky gut, it could be asthma, neurological conditions, autoimmune disease, cancer, infection, H. pylori, gastritis, gastric ulcers, IBD, IBS, Crohn's disease. So, people suffering all these conditions are going to be dealing also with leaky gut. So it's very important to take care of this
So like
issue.
guaranteed, like if you have any of this, you almost certainly have it.
There was a study about autoimmune disease that they collected different studies and they came to the conclusion that if you're dealing with leaky gut, if you're dealing with autoimmune disorder, more certainly you will have leaky gut. So I wouldn't say it's 100%, but most likely.
But it's pretty likely. Okay.
Yeah, and also very difficult conditions, such as cancer. There's studies that show that it can be related to leaky gut also, or they not related that if you're dealing with cancer, which is something serious, you're gonna be dealing also with leaky gut infections and for sure, inflammation of the digestive system is gonna be linked to that. So that's why it's so serious. I remember people that came to our lifestyle center that has dealing with cancer when we did the food sensitivity tests for them, they were positive, just exactly like a autoimmune. So I was thinking, oh, so it's a serious for digestion. So there is a link there. Okay, here are the symptoms. The symptoms are abdominal pain, cramps, bloating, rash, sudden weakness, decreased energy, muscle pain, joint pain, brain fog, nutritional deficiencies, like I was having that, fatigue. I was having serious fatigue, headache, confusion, skin problems such as acne, rash, eczema. When people have skin conditions, usually they have serious inflammation, internal inflammations just coming out of your skin. So it's the first internal symptoms are going to be gone before the skin condition is going to be gone. So first is going to be I'm helping a person that having had a lot of digestive symptoms and skin conditions. So now all the symptoms are gone, but the skin is still there. So that takes longer because this is, a lot of inflammation that the body's dealing with when they're having rashes and things like that. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, we can go to the therapies. I'll talk a little bit about the therapies. I don't see questions, but if you do have
We
questions,
have a couple if you
you
want to
do.
answer it now.
Maybe we can answer those and then move to the next part, which is the therapies for leaky gut.
Okay. Earlier, Gina Risner asked, I started green juice last week. It has a cup of carrot juice. Is that too much sugar?
Okay, for us, we do 1/3 of the juice is carrot. Some people that the bacteria is very unbalanced, if they have candida, we remove the carrot altogether. But for the juice to have a good taste, 1/3 is carrots. So we do 3 cups a day of juice. So 1 cup is going to be carrots, half a cup of the juice is going to be cucumber, half a cup is going to be lettuce, half a cup celery, and the rest is cruciferous, and we switch it around, or other greens. We switch it around every day. So that will make it a balanced juice. And because carrots is good, if you don't do it like 100% carrot like I used to do, but it will be at times that you will have to remove it if you're dealing with a serious dysbiosis or imbalance of your bacteria. Okay, what other question that we have?
So Maria Izquierdo, our winner from last week, she asked, can all this stuff produce fibrosis? What type of remedy is good for fibrosis?
Is this fibrosis in the lungs? It'll
I'm
be
not
good
sure.
to
She did not
explain us a little
specify.
more. Yeah, this is yeah, it's a good question, but they usually build up in the connective tissue that can scar and harden the organs, so it can be in different organs. And
Well,
some
I
people,
mean, this is the thing. People ask what can be done for this problem, like lupus or fibrosis or rheumatoid arthritis. And what we are trying to do is we know that there are certain things that contribute to more inflammation for all disease. And so we, with this diet, what we're trying to do is we're helping people to understand that, you can eat in such a way that the diet is so much more anti-inflammatory that it will have a very non-specific. What I mean by non-specific is that we're not going to just eat for multiple sclerosis or just eat for rheumatoid or just eat for this. So it's non-specific in that we are decreasing inflammation across the board. And so it's going to help with a multitude of different types of conditions. But
Mm,
there are certain conditions that certain foods will cause more issues with than others, and there are certain people who certain foods will have more inflammation than others. Like, for instance, when I got really inflamed and I couldn't tolerate hardly anything, I couldn't tolerate stone fruit, which is like cherries and peaches and things with a pit in it. Like it was like, of course, all the typical things, and then it was on top of that all of these things that you would consider to do be good for you, and I couldn't tolerate that. And so when you get so sick that you can't tolerate even, say, lettuce or something, then you have to do something really dramatic, and eat as anti-inflammatory as possible. And that's what we're trying to do, get people as soothed and make digestion as easy as possible so that you don't have to spend a lot of energy there. And then we're building up the microbiome with all these different therapies as that Mercy has here, like the aloe vera, the onion and garlic broth, where the garlic and lemon drink. So we're doing different things with the green juices and this kind of thing. These are all things to help heal the tight junctions, to improve the microbiome. So it's a very multifaceted thing. You're taking away the inflammation and you're putting in anti-inflammatory things and healing.
mhm. Good. Yeah, definitely. It these therapies we're doing, the key is to decrease inflammation, and so that's one of the things that we do: decrease inflammation, taking care of leaky gut, and take care of the dysbiosis. So if we accomplish that, usually the symptoms start disappearing.
And
And
we
she
have
specified it was in the uterus in case that changes anything.
Oh, fibroids. I mean, yes, it has helped
We
people
have
with
helped
fibroids so
people
that
with fibroids.
it's helped people avoid surgery, for instance. It's helped
Mm,
people with ovarian issues,
yes.
and it's helped even with pulmonary fibrosis and, so different types of connective tissue issues.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so it's gonna be whole plant based. Why whole plant based? Because it's a fiber, right? The fiber, because one of the key components is take care of the imbalance of the microbiome. So that will do the whole plant base. And also it has to be unprocessed, because a lot of people can be in plant based but eat very unhealthy foods, fried foods and processed foods, and going to very unhealthy restaurants. It's hardly any good restaurants unless you choose.
Right, because that's still plant-based, right? You can still get French fries with ketchup. That's plant-based. You can eat all
Exactly.
sorts of terrible plant-based stuff. I mean, I,
Mm.
I remember when I was a young adult, I was like 18. My friend's girlfriend was getting like really into, she was trying to eat healthy. She didn't know any better, bless her heart, but she got like organic donuts and she thought it
Oh,
was, she's like, oh, but it's organic, but a lot of people think that way. A lot of people assume, well, it's vegan or it's organic, so that means it's good, right? But that's not necessarily the case, right?
yeah. No, that's a good point. Not because it's organic is healthy. It can be organic and processed and they put chemicals for it. And especially for gluten-free products, they they had to add things to make it taste good and make good consistency. So it's going to be a lot of chemicals. I remember when we were producing tortillas, they were producing for us and producing for other people tortillas. And they have so many chemicals. It was very few items for the food, but it was so many chemicals that I was like, wow, this is so amazing how sickening can be these gluten-free products. So that's one of the reasons we do our own foods, and there, of course, are going to be non-processed, and there, because we know what is in the food, they are going to be anti-inflammatory, because we do everything from scratch and combining well. It has to be balanced. And we had to address food sensitivities. And talking about food sensitivities, people um realize already, oh, when I eat gluten, I get really bloated. And they figured it out. When I eat corn, I get very bloated. When I eat soy, I get very bloated. So they figured it out, those big foods already. But you know what? The one that they have not figured it out is the oats. A lot of people are positive for oats. So I think that's a big one.
Positive, by
Many
positive, you
people,
mean they're sensitive to it, right?
exactly. The positive for, and they test positive for odds. So, we have to, if you're very sick, it'll be a good idea to do this, a test, a food sensitivity test, or just remove these big ones. These big foods that are more likely you might be having issues. Or you can introduce later on one at a time to see which one is causing issues. If you have symptoms, some people don't have digestive system symptoms necessary, like myself when I was sick. I test positive for corn, soy, gluten, but I didn't have any bloating, pain, diarrhea, nothing like that. So that's why it's harder in people like myself to figure it out what is triggering my issues. Um, but we just know that this is the 5 foods, also the yeast, 5 foods that are problematic. So you
I
can
didn't
start
have
with those foods.
the typical gut issues either. I think I got so used to having an uncomfortable abdomen because I do have a lot of pain in my abdomen now that I know what to look for. But I didn't notice that. I had a lot of muscle pain,
A
so much
shortness of
muscle
breath
pain.
too, right?
Well, I have bad lungs from, yeah, and so like I would notice more shortness of breath with certain things. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, it doesn't manifest the same way for everybody. It can target all kinds of things. That's why people with very bad skin conditions, they should really look into food sensitivity issues and, the eczema, the psoriasis, this type of thing, um, fibromyalgia, whatever kind of symptoms you're having. If you have a chronic illness, you most likely have a leaky gut problem.
Yes, yes. So, okay, so we can keep going here. Aloe vera. Doctor just mentioned that aloe vera is very, very healing. Then we have this broth that's onion garlic broth. I will describe later on, pretty quick here. And then we have, and the onion garlic is very, very anti-inflammatory broth that we do, and very healing for the lining of the digestive system. And the garlic lemon drink, the garlic we do to balance the bacteria, prevent infections, things like that. And also because when you're dealing with this dysbiosis, that's a low chronic infection, and you want to take care of that. So this will help you with that. And the lemon is to help us with processing proteins. Okay, here's some study shows aloe vera. Uh, See in the bold part in the bottom, it says restore health restoration of intestinal permeability by reducing sonulin. Can you believe that? Reduce your sonulin. So this is a study directly
So what does that
linked
mean?
to leaky gut. Hmm?
What does that mean? Intestinal permeability by reduced zonulin levels. What does that
It
mean?
means restoring leaky gut, but by decreasing the sonulin molecule, which is what opens the gate.
Oh, okay. Zonulin was triggered from gluten, right? Was that it?
Yeah,
Right.
in other foods, yeah.
Right.
Eh,
And that
mhm,
causes the junctions in the intestinal walls to open up.
mhm.
Right. And
And
so,
so
mhm.
so the aloe vera helps to restore that and close those junctions. Is that what this means?
Yes,
by
exactly.
reducing the zonulin?
Exactly. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So there's many studies, but I will just bring a few studies here. So that's the aloe vera. So you cut it in the bottom and then you put it in water. So drain all the latex and bitterness. There is some toxic stuff there. So every day you change the water and you cut 1 inch by 1 inch and
So
you keep
I
it
can't just
15
scoop it
minutes
out.
before
I can't
meals.
just get like a aloe vera leaf and just scoop it out and eat it.
No, there is some studies that show that also can be toxic. So you have to be careful removing that, especially the skin, the green skin. I remember one time I went to a lifestyle center and they told us the only way you can eat it because it's so bitter is like you blend it with a banana. So that's what they did. But
Oh, they blended
not
the
knowing at
skin
that
with
time
it.
that this is not the way to do it.
They blended the peel, the skin with it.
Everything, yeah.
Whoa. Oh, and
So,
then to
but
get
if
over
you
how
eat,
horrible it tastes, they sweetened it with banana. Is that what you said?
yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
that's probably not good.
Yeah, but if you let it leach, all those bitterness actually doesn't have any taste. And so that's why you go little by little using the bottom part, never use the whole thing and cut it and put it in the refrigerator because the upper part is not leach. If you get the upper part, even if you do overnight, it's gonna be bitter. So every
Okay.
day you're leaching all that bitterness from.
Okay. So you said to cut off the bottom part, right?
Mhm,
The wide bottom part, the fat part of it. So cut off that and then
mhm,
put it upside down in like a bowl of water or glass or something with water so it can drain out that latex and all that stuff can drain out. Is that what you said?
mhm. Yes.
And then when you want to consume it, you take only an inch at a time
Yes, of only the gel, not the
of the
green.
gel. No, not the peel. You scoop out the gel and then that you can consume.
Yes,
Now it's good.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so here one study about onion is shows here that it helps cataracts. Awesome, but we're focusing today. It helps disturbances of the gastrointestinal tract. So that's why I like there's a lot of studies about onion. I mean, thousands of studies.
Yeah, it seems like it
Last
does
time I checked
everything.
was 7,000 or 8,000. Um,
It even grows hair back. It does all sorts of crazy
it's
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, my number one natural remedy for many things. Here's another study says the red onion peel in treating gastric ulcers. The only thing is that the peel, when you cook the whole thing, it doesn't taste as great as just without the skin. And it still has a lot of properties without the skin, right? So you just have to do the best you can. Some people don't mind, don't care, but some people might,
Oh, so you should eat the peel too if you can.
not eat. When you cook the onion broth,
Oh,
you
the broth. Okay, the
it will
broth.
be good to put also the peel because the peel is very great for healing properties, but it changes the taste also. So just try it out if you can still enjoy it.
So you want to incorporate onion as much as possible if you're having gut issues, which you probably do. And you
Mhm.
want you want to eat it, you want to incorporate it into your meals, and then you can also make an onion broth with it, right? You can boil it for like 15 minutes. And if you do that, then you can include the peel and that would actually be even better. That's what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see.
And red onion is that the most powerful one? Is that the best one to use?
Well, the study is showing potential red onion, but I haven't seen a study that says red onion is better than the yellow or white. We just know that the white is not as potent, as good as, I mean, the stronger the color, usually the better the properties. Okay, here is the recipe for the onion garlic broth. So it's 1 onion, 3 to 5 cloves of garlic, 3 cups of water. You boil for 20 minutes. cool it off, and then you drink it on empty stomach. It's very important when we do these things, like the garlic with lemon drink. You always do with meals, because it's the raw garlic can cause issues, especially in people that have very delicate digestive system. So here's the recipe for that. And then this is the recipe for the lemon garlic drink. And it's 2 cloves of garlic, and be sure they're small. I was helping somebody that she was putting these humongous cloves of garlic, those giants, and it was causing so much problems. Yeah, I couldn't tolerate that. Even medium garlic cloves can be really bad, too strong. So small cloves of garlic with 1 tablespoon lemon juice and 4 ounces of water. And that will be just the perfect drink. If you put less water, it's going to be a little too strong. You don't want to put more water because you don't want to dilute your enzymes. So that's the minimum of water to
All right. So
taste.
if you're watching right now, feel free to screenshot this
Mhm.
so you can just keep that recipe on hand. This is a really good drink because a lot of us with, the issues that we've been talking about, digestive issues, leaky gut, autoimmune, we have problems digesting our food, right? We need all the help we can get to digest our foods properly, which is why we're always looking for the most easy to digest foods possible and healing foods like onion and aloe and all this other stuff. But if we've used this drink, right, the onion garlic drink in the middle, in the middle of your meal, right? It should be like what while you're eating, like in the middle of your meal. If you consume this, you should also use a straw so it doesn't get on your teeth. But you
Mhm.
consume that during your meal, that's going to help you to break down the foods, digest the foods, to optimize the chance that you're really absorbing the nutrients, you're avoiding indigestion, bloating, all the stuff that we deal with.
Yes. Yep. Very good. Very good. I can tell you follow the protocol, Davy.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
You're very familiar. Okay. Because you also had issues like us. So I
Yeah,
see a
yeah. Yeah,
I see a thing.
it's been a total it's, honestly, it's probably been the only thing that's kept me from out of the hospital, taking medications. I had really serious autoimmune problems. I mean, I still do, but they're managed. But, I don't take any medications, I don't do anything, conventional, but I just follow this diet, this protocol, and the laws of health that we teach. And I have a normal life. I work out 5 times a week.
Dang.
I have minimal symptoms. They come up here and there, but totally manageable.
Mhm.
And whenever my symptoms come up, it's always my fault. Like I'm not sleeping enough or, something dumb that I'm doing to myself. But other than that, it's nothing like it was, nothing.
Yeah. That's a blessing. Okay, so Tia Tennant said, "This is my first time joining the group tonight. I had acquired long COVID 2 years ago at a Christmas dinner family event. I was diagnosed with diabetes. Um, 1 year ago, I immediately started switching to a plant-based diet. I had good results reducing my A1C. I attended a 9-day New Stars Star program in Canada in October. I just started to the autoimmune recovery program 2 weeks ago with excellent results so far. My question is, will eating pseudograins like buckwheat help reduce A1C further? That's a good question. Well, just be sure that when you eat buckwheat, your blood sugar doesn't shoot up, because sometimes some people it can raise the blood sugar. So anything that raises the blood sugar, you have to be careful. I will be careful. Buckwheat can do that. So check it out. If it causes to raise it, then I will avoid it. Amaranth is better, and quinoa can be better than buckwheat for high blood sugar.
And the thing is, different people have different sensitivities to those things too. So yeah, it's hard to say whether for you the pseudograins will work or not. I have seen that the pseudograins seem to help with blood sugar better than the grains. You know, a lot of times when people are eating rice and oatmeal and that kind of thing, it does seem that soaking and sprouting and doing these pseudo grains, especially when you're doing organic, avoiding glyphosate, that it is better. And but you might want to get like a continuous glucose monitor and check your blood sugar after eating these and see how your blood sugar responds like within an hour after eating some of these things.
Okay, there is another question, I think.
Let me go back up just so people don't feel like we're skipping them. The oldest question I saw was and what was the last person's name? Tina, is that her name? I'm glad that she's
Yeah,
taking the program and getting great results. That's really cool to hear.
yeah,
But
thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Sharing.
Barbara Perez asked, is there a specific group of medications known to cause leaky gut?
Yeah, especially the anti-inflammatories like aspirin, ibuprofen, all those group of medications, they can cause leaky gut. It can be others too, but I'm not familiar with it. But those are very common medications that can be linked to leaky gut.
Okay,
But
so
all medications are going to have some kind of side effect, and even supplements, you know, they might have some untoward effects. And so you just want to be careful about everything that we're putting into the system. And that being said, though, you know, sometimes you have to take some of these things. And so then we use these remedies and we just do the best that we can do.
Yes. And try
yeah,
to
just
get up
just be
with the
mindful. Yeah,
medication.
just be mindful because there's a lot of medications that can contribute. I don't think we should say more than that, but we should just be very mindful about these things.
Mhm. Okay, do we have any more? Because
Yeah,
we
we
can
we do. We do.
go to the last part of our presentation.
So God's own child, I like that name. She asked if I'm not sure if I'm growing so lean, even as a vegan, what am I losing? I'm not sure.
Probably fats. You have to be careful that you eat good amounts also. You don't want to lose too much weight also. You want to have your normal weight. So, when we do our diet, we check our weight every day because people that need to lose weight, we want them to lose weight. People that need to gain weight, we want them to gain weight, and it is possible. But you have to be very mindful how you do it and check your weight every day, and it has to be balanced because you can eat also plant-based and balanced. So we'll talk a little more about what we teach on that regard.
Right, because you should be a healthy weight, right? If you're doing it properly, you shouldn't be getting, overweight and you shouldn't be really, skinny and worried about, like losing excess. So if you are gaining too much weight or losing too much weight, there's some imbalance in the diet that needs to be corrected somewhere, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and there are some people who there are a few people who they do lose a lot of weight on some of these diets. And
Hmm.
this particular diet, I feel like, you know, we're not low fat, low sugar or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so most people don't have an issue, but there are a few people every once in a while who will not be able to gain weight on this. And so then we have to do certain special things.
Yeah, some do. So when people have that problem, what are good foods you think that they should think about incorporating a little bit more that can help them keep their weight up?
Yeah, there's people that when they start, they're yeah, they're not heavy. They might have a normal weight and they start losing weight. So we usually ask them to do 3 meals a day, blend their foods so that you can gain faster weight when you blend your foods. So there's a couple of things that you do and they do good. They start gaining
Okay,
weight.
because normally we say 2 meals, right? We advocate for 2 meals a day for the great majority of people. That works great, 2 meals. But for people who need to gain weight, do a third, right? So you're saying do a third, and then you should also blend your food. Is this to get in more calories or to digest the food more easily, or what's the reason behind that?
It seems that the digestion is easier in people that have serious digestive problems.
Okay, so some people who may be losing weight, they may not be extracting the nutrients because of digestive issues. Is that what you're saying? And
Yeah,
blending food will solve that or can solve that?
it can help. Um,
Okay.
yeah, while they do all the rest of the therapies to recover.
Okay. Let's go to the next. Barbara Perez again. Should the uncut aloe vera stored in the water be refrigerated until it's time to be consumed? It's a good
We don't
question.
need it. We have not done that, and it's okay because you're gonna be consuming. It might take 2, 3 weeks, and it's okay to be outside.
Yeah, just change the water. Just make sure you're changing the water out. That's all I do. I
Mhm.
just change the water out regularly and it's fine. Aloe lasts quite a while. I'm actually surprised by
Yeah.
how long it'll go for.
Yeah.
No, I have to say with the aloe, I had a friend who, when she was living with me, she would cut up even higher amounts of the aloe and then put it in water in the fridge. And I never had a problem with bitterness or anything like that. And it seemed to make it more convenient. I don't know if you've ever tried that.
Um, all I know is that when we try the upper part, it's really bitter. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
she cut it the upper part. So
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's not bitter, I think it's okay. But I think
Mm-hmm.
probably will lose nutrients also if you soak the whole thing in
Mm-hmm.
water. And because aloe has all kind of nutrients, so
Mm-hmm.
it will be better practice just to keep it out. But if that's gonna be very convenient, it's the only way that you're gonna do, you choose whatever works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to the next one.
Uh,
So
someone had another question on something. What are
yeah,
your thoughts
we have a
on
few more.
slippery elm?
What is it again?
Slippery elm.
Slippery
What are
is
your thoughts on it?
it's very good. People can do that. Um,
What's it good for?
it's something like helps like aloe vera, like helps leaky gut also.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you
It,
just make 1 tablespoon with half a cup of water, maybe 30 minutes before meals, and
Is
then
it
you
anti-inflammatory or does it help repair the junctions or
it's mucilaginous. It's very anti-inflammatory. It
okay.
helps to heal with these leaky gut conditions. It's a plant that has a lot of that mucilaginous type of stuff. You
What
can
does that
actually
mean?
use it in like a, well, it will
I'm simple folk.
it will, like, say if you put it in a poultice, it'll absorb that water and it'll get really kind of gummy and viscous.
Okay, like it'll get really jelly, like turn into a gel kind of.
It seems to, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've looked at it. I
Okay.
don't use it a whole lot, but I know that, people like Barbara O'Neill, she recommends it a lot for people.
Okay.
And she's gotten really good results with it. I I have not had like dramatic results with it myself personally, but I know that different people have had good results with it.
Okay. But generally it's a good thing for
yeah,
gut
yeah,
issues.
it's a good
Okay.
thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Some people cannot tolerate aloe, so we recommend that instead.
Okay, a couple more. Ruth Dunham asked if antibiotics kill good and bad bacteria, how does one incorporate the good bacteria back into the body? Does the fiber or plant flesh contain the bacteria?
Usually raw foods help because you have the bacteria in the raw foods, fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Also we do vegetables enemas to, you know, grow the bacteria faster. That's a little more complicated, but you don't even need that unless you're super sick. But just eating a lot of fresh foods will help that and to grow the bacteria faster, then you do everything is fiber, right? Our whole plant-based means everything is going to be fiber, whole, because you're not eating refined foods. So that should be very helpful.
And
Okay, I have one. Go ahead, Joyce.
oh, Dr. Lavi says that she uses a slippery elm in her poultices.
Oh,
Dr. Lavi
okay.
Mm.
Ansu Smith.
Yeah. Okay. I never used it in poultices, but that's a good idea for the gut. It'll be good to do a abdominal poultice.
Mhm.
Great.
So Zaza Sanders asked, I have an aloe plant, but I'm not sure if it's something I can drink. Is there certain aloe, are there certain aloe vera plants that are recommended? I guess she's asking, are there different types of aloe vera plants, some that are good to consume and some?
Yeah, there are different types of aloe plants, and the most commonly grown and sold ones, they're usually okay for it. But I know that there is at least one variety of aloe that is not so good to consume, if I remember correctly, in the years that I was researching them. And so, yeah, so you'll want to look and see.
Mhm.
And then someone else asked, can you tell me how to grow one?
Oh, it's very easy, very easy. Just one leaf, you put it in dirt, and then it's gonna grow. But be sure that you do it in good weather. Start it in summer, and then during the winter it can grow too. But you have to bring the plant inside of the house so it won't be so cold.
Yeah, they can freeze, right? But otherwise they grow like I mean, you shouldn't, but you can almost neglect them and they don't want to die. I've had aloe vera plants that, I neglected them. I'm like, whoa, buddy, you're still kicking and it's still there.
They don't like sun though, it seems. Do they? Like, don't they like more shade?
I think they like sun. They're like cactus
Yeah, I
type.
think they do
Really?
like sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because I
think
grew
so.
So
them.
they do good in Texas.
Yeah, yeah, I live in Texas, so,
They
Maybe
don't.
they just didn't like my sun. Well, maybe just
really
they
what
didn't.
killed mine was the winter. It froze and then
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
what I didn't bring it in and I killed it.
Yeah, yeah, it's weather. Okay, so if anybody is interested learning more about what we're talking about, we have a full program with everything that you need, or most of thing that you need, or everything that we could compile, put it together. So we have an online program to help you in your journey, and you will learn all the in and outs of the diet. We have a class on the diet, a class on the protocol, a class of how to do um, an evaluation, lifestyle evaluation, what tests you're supposed to do yourself. I think I'm going to add some food sensitivity tests there because we have not added those yet, but for this next class. And then also we have natural remedies, several natural remedies for common conditions. We have another class how to take care of difficult conditions. And the last class is about how to help others because we would like people that recover to help others because now they have a good experience, good testimony to help others. And that's the medical missionary work. When we go to the next step after we recover, which we have a lot of testimonies about people recovering. You can check out Med Missionary, one word, YouTube, and see a lot of testimonies there. So we want to invite you if you are if you like to learn about these therapies, or if you're sick, or if you're a health leader of your church, or you just want to learn more. This is part of the health message. How to eat and follow all these principles that God has given us. And so we want to invite you um, to join this course. We're going to start the course this Sunday the 25th, at 7 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to have 6 classes live on Sundays at that time. And then we have so much information in the website that you had to do it on your own about the science behind everything that we do, all the videos about natural remedies, about the Bible, about the history of the health message, so and much more. So you will enjoy that course. So, but what do we have tonight, Davy?
Yeah, so we're gonna do something a little bit special. And before that, I also just want to add a little bit that, we've been talking about, leaky gut and all the problems that we have with our diet and, how if you're new to all this, if you have autoimmune disease, gut issues, and you're just starting to try to address your diet and seeing what some natural things you can do to find relief from your symptoms and your problems and even find remission from your illnesses, all these things, you're trying to find more natural ways of going about it. It can be pretty complicated. There can be a lot of information to go through. There's people that have different plans. Some people say go do the carnivore diet, just eat nothing but meat, or some people say do paleo. There's so much information, right? There's so many things to do, but there's just so many things that constantly put your not just your digestive system, but your whole immune system under assault. There's so many things that do that, especially with your diet. We really recommend cutting out some major things for most people and then building up from there. Once you cut these things out and you're good, then you can start to slowly add some certain things back to see if they work for you or not. But the things you really want to cut out are going to be like wheat/gluten, corn, nuts, nightshades, yeast, um,
Soy.
yeah, any type of grains, right? So like rice, barley, rye, wheat, all that type of stuff. But then a lot of people are going to ask, well, then what do I eat? Am I just going to be eating ice soup? Or what's left, right? Because whenever I tell people I don't eat this stuff, they're always like, well, what do you eat? You don't need anything. That's not true at all. Such a diversity of like incredible, delicious foods that God gave us to eat. But the thing is, a lot of people just don't know those things. And so a lot of people don't know how to replace those things once they cut them out, because those are the big problem foods for most people. And soy, I didn't mention soy. Those are the big problem foods because those are like the staples, right? Corn and wheat and soy and nuts. And so what do I eat? And our program is, especially because Mercy has so much experience with her lifestyle center with Years Restored, helping people, refining, searching out foods and ingredients and recipes and food she can put together. Our course really walks you through the menu and the protocol of what you can eat, how to think about your foods, how to combine your foods. We give you simple, easy to follow menus that are really easy to follow, really enjoyable, really quick to prepare so that you don't have to be doing all the research yourself. You don't have to be thinking about it yourself. You don't have to be going and some things are going to be you're going to have to customize some things. Not everyone's body's different, but the large part of the work has been done for you. It's been packaged for you, prepared. All you have to do is follow it. Just follow it. And most people get 80+% of the way there just from doing that. From there, you may have to tweak and, move some things here and there. And then we teach you how to do that too. I think it's week 5 when we talk about dealing with chronic and persistent issues and customizing the program to really suit you. But our program does all that for you. And so with all that being said, we have a giveaway today, but for the first 5 people who sign up tonight, we're going to give away an extra course if you want to take the course with a loved one, with a friend, if you have a family member, you have a spouse, if you have a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, someone you care about, someone who is also dealing with issues that you think could be helped by this program. If you sign up for the course tonight, then the first 5 people who do that, we're going to give away another free copy of the course to another loved one. So just all you have to do is sign up for the course. We'll be monitoring it. The first 5 people will get in touch with you and we'll offer you a free copy of the course to take with another person. And this can be a huge blessing for a lot of people because sometimes some people get a little intimidated doing it by themselves. But if you have another person encouraging you, doing it with you, experiencing, through the change, going through the lifestyle changes, because it does take lifestyle changes. You do have to be mindful of your stress levels and your sleep and your diet and all these things. You do have to follow it, right? We prepare it for you. We package it for you. We tell you exactly what to do, but then you have to go and follow it. But that, that alone, it does take effort. And if you have another person there with you to take it with you, it can be a huge blessing for a lot of people. So we wanted to extend this offer to the first 5 people who sign up tonight.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing that you're gonna give one extra course, right? And it's worth almost $400. So you sign up today, you'll get another free course for a friend of a loved one. So that's super amazing. Somebody's saying about, I realize that iodine is essential for thyroid health. However, those with hyperthyroidism tend to experience tachycardia. So how do you do that? I will check my iodine. How's your iodine? There is a blood test that you can do. So if you have hyperthyroidism and your iodine is low, then you have to make it right, make it within the levels that need to be. If they're higher than the levels, it probably will cause more issues. But if it's low, you just want to get it right. So that's important. Check your selenium also. Selenium can be a problem with the thyroid. Food sensitivities to see, you will want to do food sensitivities to see what is triggering. So I will advise you to join the program, and you will learn all the in and outs of autoimmune disease. And on the week 4, you can also ask us about, this is more specialized, talking about hyperthyroidism. Okay, so I think we are done, huh? Do you
Right.
have anything else to say?
Yep. And that's at medmissionary.com. I went
Okay.
ahead and put it in the comments in the chat. It's medmissionary.com. And then we do have one other question from Barbara again, asking the natural remedies recommended for leaky gut, are these effective with erosive esophagitis?
Especially very
Mm.
excellent for it. If I had that issue, I will do probably 6 cups of onion broth a day to heal it. Drink it instead water, perhaps, until that should be very effective for that. And remove the foods that are causing the problems, right? If you're eating hot foods, I will remove that. If you're eating foods that are very inflammatory, I will remove all those foods. It'll be great if you could join our class and learn all the in and outs of the diet.
All right. Anything you want to add, Joyce?
Hold on. Where am I? Oh, as far as joining the course, we've had so many wonderful testimonies. And so if you are interested in, like, say, I heard someone talking about fibroids, for instance, we have a wonderful testimony from a lady from Hungary last year, I think, or 2 years ago, she shared it. Someone from the Philippines had shared her testimony about fibroids, for instance. We have so many testimonies from people with like leaky gut, thyroid issues, more hypothyroid than hyperthyroid, although we've had people with hyperthyroid take the program as well, and lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. So these are all conditions that people have had who've taken the course. And then the other thing about it is that there is a spiritual emphasis. And so that is something that a lot of people really appreciate. And they find that not only their physical health improves, they find that their spiritual health is rejuvenated. And so I think that's a really important thing. A lot of people feel like they have found a lot more purpose after taking the course. And so I think that's a very meaningful thing.
Mhm. Awesome. Well, I think we are done with the program, and thank you so much for joining. We would like to do more of this. So if you have questions ahead, or if there are issues that you like to talk, you can send us an email to info@medmissionary.com with your ideas for that, and we'll be happy to do more programs live.
All right, and let me announce one more thing. Tomorrow we want to do another program here tomorrow. We're thinking of doing it in the afternoon because we want to be mindful of Sabbath. We don't want to interfere with that. but we're thinking of doing a program. Maybe are we going to do it at 2:30 Pacific, Mercy?
Yeah, 2:30 will be good. The
Okay. 2:30. Okay, let's do that. So it's going to be 2:30 Pacific time. So 4:30 if you're Central, 5:30 if you're Eastern. And we're going to be sharing a powerful testimony. If any of you had the chance to see us on 3ABN, maybe you saw Cher, who presented some of her story. She's going to be here with us live here on Facebook, sharing her story and talking about, what God's done for her and, her experience with Med Missionary and the program and the crazy experiences that she's had and how she's overcome a lot of these things. And she has a really powerful story. It's a really beautiful, powerful testimony. And we're excited to share that. So I'm going to create the event for that tonight. And you can go ahead and RSVP to that. I'll create the event here on Facebook. I just wanted to announce it here that we're going to be doing that tomorrow at 2:30 Pacific time.
awesome.
Thank
Okay.
you. Dee. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. We will see you tomorrow, perhaps, if you are able to join us. Thank you. God bless you. Take care.
Okay, God bless. Thank you.
And yes, Svetlana, well, this will be on YouTube.
Mhm.
And
All right, bye
someone told you
everyone.
that you did a good job, Davy.
Oh, how nice. Well,
Okay.
someone else accused me of spreading misinformation about aloe and said their aloe didn't like sun. So, hey, I'm not an aloe farmer. That's not my trade. So if I've said anything against the aloe farmer community,
Oh,
I
they were just
I I don't know what I'm talking about. My aloe died in the
they
element.
just
Don't trust me.
agreed. They agreed and they said that their aloe didn't like the sun so much either. See, because I tried it in the
Yeah, yeah,
sun,
that's what you were
I tried
saying.
it in the shade, and it seemed to grow well in the shade. So
Yeah,
someone
maybe
else.
mine didn't like it either, and I just didn't notice. I don't know. That's totally
Okay.
possible.
All right. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
All
everybody.
right, bye guys. See you tomorrow.